you want to know my opinion on what I think, just keep on watching. Hi guys, what's good? It's your girl Nisi here and I'm back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be speaking on the rent crisis in America. So I recently did one about the UK. I'm gonna show you the picture here. I'll put it at the end of this video. If you've not seen it, please check it out, get those views up. Shout out to all the people in the building watching, liking and commenting, subscribing. Thank you. But yeah, let's get into it. So we all know there's a big and a huge rental or even housing crisis in America. The fact that they've got a whole area in LA where it's just like homeless people, it's called Skid Row. And when you see it, I'll just like try and put a clip when people drive past, you know, it's just very disturbing. Like the fact that one side of town could have this such glamorous place, you know, you got the whole Walk of Fame, you've got Hollywood, you know, the big sign, you've got obviously like Calabasas where all the celebrities live. And then on the other side, you've got Skid Row. Like it's insane. Now, obviously with the fires that happened earlier this year in LA, obviously houses need to be rebuilt, etc. But you know, with that, it's gonna be costly. And then once those houses, apartments are up, you know, the prices are going to be insane. So, and LA is the most expensive state to live in. I think the top 3 states, I think it's LA, New York, and I can't remember the third one. I'll try and put it there, but yeah. I think Hawaii is on there. Obviously Hawaii is classed as America. I think that's another really expensive place. And then obviously last year there was the wildfires in Hawaii, and again, that's going to take more money and things like that to rebuild. It's just sad for the local people. I know with Hawaii, a lot of locals would protesting, like, you know, tourists, please don't come here, you know what I mean, things like that, because they were just struggling. You know, Hawaii is okay for me because I'm only going there for a holiday. For the people that live in there day in, day out, the struggle is real. So, and it's the same with LA. Like, LA, I've always thought it was a really weird state. Like, just the fact that you've got Hollywood, this rich, famous side of town, and then you'll have like the hood, like Compton and things like that. Like, how can you be in the same state? It's crazy. But yeah, let's get into some people's reaction.
This is a red alert for California. They are one of the only states where rents are actually going up because of, especially in SoCal, a lot of properties were destroyed with the fire, which caused multifamily apartments to raise their rents, single family homes raise their rents. And now we're hearing that illegals in a lot of the other states, especially red states, are being asked by the property management company at their apartment buildings to verify that they are legally here in the United States. So with fear that's kicking in, they're packing up trucks, leaving their jobs, and they're all migrating to California. Wait for the shock they get when they get there and see what the rents are. 2-bedroom apartments are probably like $2,500 in SoCal in a really like not so good area. And what's this going to do to the rents going forward? They already have very low supply. The vacancies are very small in California, and now you have this huge demand that's moving in. We could see rents go through the roof somewhere in California, especially SoCal. I don't think people are prepared for what's about to happen.
Besides the fact that I'm extremely struggling to pay my rent every month, you know how I realize that it's really, really bad out here? I live in the hood, okay? I live in the hood. The hood. Garbage everywhere. People's dogs not tied up. Pit bulls running around. Litter, dog poop. People riding bikes. Women of the night down the block. Like, I've been living here for a year and a half. And when I first moved in, it was 100% black. Like, 100% black people. And now, I was just walking my dog and this white guy was like, to me, dead ass. Now, all of a sudden, I've seen before the apartment's taken by white people. And this is like the cheapest spot in town. Also, some Hispanics have moved in as well. Like when I first moved in here, there was a white girl that lived here. But I feel like when I realized everything changed, when I seen white men moving in here, I was like, oh shit, it's bad out there. It's bad. And I'm actually scared, guys, for my lease being up in January. I'm very scared. I'm very scared for what's gonna happen. That being said, please help me get to 10K. Oh my God, I gotta get out the hood. Please, please, please. I'm not gonna be able to afford the hood. They've already raised my rent. They tried to raise it $125. I talked them down to $75. They're probably definitely gonna raise it again at that. And this is for the hood. No supermarkets, no restaurants, nothing. Like, I don't know, we're just sitting on here on social media talking about it, but it's like, what do we actually do? What are we actually doing? The election is in November and they haven't even talked about the election. They're not even like trying to get people to, oh, come out and vote and be on our side, because I feel like they know what it is. They're gonna wait till the last minute to be like, all right, well, you have to pick somebody. You gotta vote for Biden, you know, since you don't want Trump. Like, no, we can't do that. We cannot do that. I know it's a little bit all over the place, this video, but it's bad out here, dude. Rent is really bad. And yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm very scared. I don't wanna live in my car. Not with 2 dogs.
That girl was making me laugh. Like, listen, I live in a hood. The fact that she had to break down, because obviously there's different types of hoods. There's some hoods where it's not really ghetto, but it's, you know, a little bit ghetto. Listen, her neighborhood sounded like mine. Like, mine's got rubbish, dogs everywhere. There's police around here a lot. Like, listen, it takes one to know one. Like, listen, when you live in the hood, you live in the hood. It is what it is. But yeah, but the fact that she's now saying that she's seeing white people, she's seeing Hispanic people, you know, seeing you'll probably have some Asian people down there, like, that's what I mean. Like, there's gonna be eventually no middle class. It's literally, you're gonna have to be filthy rich and poor. Like, there's nothing in between. So usually, obviously, the middle class, they usually live in better, like, areas, you know, the suburbs, but because of the prices are just literally they're not even going up yearly anymore or annually. It's more like every 6 months. Like, realistically, we can't afford this, you know what I mean? Like, the struggle is real, you know what I mean? You have to pick between, are you going to pay for your mortgage this month, or are you going to do a big food shop, you know, gas, electricity. Like, it's insane. But yeah, I felt her when she was like, listen, I live in a hood. And when you see like other races moving into the hood, that's when you know it's bad. It's like, damn. Like, that's when you know we're in trouble. Because how did it go from being predominantly black people and, you know, the hood bangers, and now all of a sudden you're seeing a white guy say, hiya. And it's just like, wait, what? You live here? What? But yeah, like, these prices it's out of control. Like,
I would have to disagree that $2,100 a month is damn cheap. And a lot of people have commented this, but it's just not true. So I'm going to explain why. The national average salary in the United States right now, and $59,000 after taxes, your take home every month is about $3,800. So if you are a household or a single person living off of that one salary, that rent right there is more than half of what you're making. And that's just the average. So of course there's going to be people that are well below the average who cannot even afford a $2,100 rent that you guys are saying is cheap. Now, I'm not ungrateful at all. I'm blessed that we are able to afford this $2,100 of rent, which we got at this rate because we moved during COVID, during the height in 2020. We moved there in 2020 during the height of COVID, and they were having a really good deal because they were desperate to get people in. Now, unfortunately, that rent is about $3,000. But why are we normalizing? Why are we normalizing $2,100 a month of rent as being cheap when the majority of people in the United States don't even make enough to afford this type of rent? So many people have roommates. So many people who are families and have multiple children are living in an apartment instead of living in a house, which is what we are saving for. We're never going to own this apartment. We're all just throwing our money away, renting instead of buying. We have no buying power right now as millennials and as Gen Zers. Why aren't we able to afford to buy things like the generations before us did? How come we're the ones that are screwed? I was born and raised in California. It's not going to be possible for me to buy a home here because the average price of houses here, and these are old houses, like 1950s houses, is about $700,000. I thought I made decent money. Last year was the most I ever made, right? I thought that we would be able to afford a house. We're not going to be able to afford a house that's almost $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So I understand people saying $2,100 is cheap. It's not cheap. It's cheaper than other places, but we are all of us are being overcharged for rent. And these houses are insanely expensive. And there's like no chance of most people ever even being able to afford to buy a house in their lifetime. That's sad.
Listen, I agree with that girl. Like when someone comments like, oh, what was it, 2,100? That's a good price, you know, that's not too bad. Now, obviously, if that's like a price in New York or LA, then obviously that's like really good. But even she's like, no, that's not good. Like, you know what I mean, for anywhere. But I know the prices that people pay in LA and things like that, you know what I mean? Like, that would be a godsend to some people. Like, people are literally paying like 3K just for a 1-bedroom flat. Like, it's insane. Like, even for London, even in the UK or even Manchester, a lot of people try and live in the city centre where I'm from, and it's just like the prices are crazy. Like, I don't live too far from the city centre. I'll probably live like 7 minutes. So, you know what I mean? I grew up 7 minutes from the centre. Not a lot of people can say that. So, you know what I mean? I'm fortunate. You know, you have the train station. Obviously, you have all the shops, you know, Starbucks, all them things there. But, you know, a lot of people want to actually live in the centre now. Some people just want to stun, and obviously some people really need a home. But yeah, like even the universities, I don't live too far. Like the location that I live, it is a really good location, but yeah, it's just not got the best housing and the best people around. And yeah, but I agree with her, like that is not a good price. But if, like I said, if you do live in New York or LA, obviously that's a really good price for them places. Like, it has to make sense, you know.
You cannot budget your way out of a bad economy and greed. I just saw a girl on here say her rent is going up from $1,300 to $1,800. Nothing's changing, just a $500 increase because they can do that. And it was so upsetting hearing the anger and frustration in her voice, because obviously if she re-signs but can't make those monthly payments, she'll be facing eviction and homelessness. But if she chooses to relocate, that's also very expensive, because a lot of places want first month, last month, and security deposit, which is oftentimes equivalent to 1 month's rent, which, by the way, rent these days, you're not finding anything under like $1,500. Then you have to pay for your U-Haul if you want to get movers, if you want to move across state lines to hopefully find something cheaper. Like, all of that adds up for one event, and you're looking at $7,000 or more. Now, who has that just sitting around in the bank these days? I would love to know. Tell me your secrets, please. But it's just scary. Even private landlords are being impacted because their property taxes are going up, so now they have to up the rent on their tenants. And I just want to know, where do we all fit in this system? What is the angle here for us? And I hate to say this, but I feel like there is no angle for us other than to be weeded out. We're not in the big picture. Our well-being, our basic human rights, food, shelter, that kind of stuff, that's not on the agenda of these private corporations who are upping the prices on these complexes, or the government and the economy that claim to care about us so much. We're not on their agenda. So like I said in the beginning, it's just scary, because no matter how you try to sit there and go over your budget and review your monthly statements and try to stop spending here and stop spending there, you cannot budget your way out of a shitty economy and greed. I don't know. It's scary, but
I'm honestly so upset. Living in America is freaking ridiculous right now. There are people choosing whether they want to have Christmas gifts or pay their rent, and that might not be different from any other year. $2 to $3 grand on average. You need to make 2 to 3 times that. $9,000 a month. How many people with regular bachelor? 3 times that. $9,000 a month. How many people with regular bachelor degrees are even making that? No one. Not a lot of people. No one wants to live with roommates. That's not the answer. Everybody deserves a safe and clean space. There's no reason why so many people should be roommating, or you can't even buy yourself your own house. It's not, this is horrible.
She was spitting straight facts. And you know what the craziest thing is? This is just not an American thing. You know, it's America, the UK, Australia, Canada. I'm trying to think, I feel like there's somewhere else, but these are like the major. I don't really hear anything about Spain or, you know, other countries in the UN. They seem kind of all right. But yeah, for those like countries, those 4 countries I just mentioned, like the housing crisis is insane. So what she spoke on, like, you know, the rent, you've got to make 3 times, the things that they're asking for, you know, when you go and view a house. Oh my gosh. So let me try and break it down for what I can remember on the top of my head. So you need about 3 months to 6 months in rent, you know what I mean? Obviously you need a deposit, you need a guarantor, just in case you miss a month, they can holler at your guarantor and be like, you need to pay. Obviously you need to have, you know, like your wage slips, you need to be in a job probably over a year plus, you need to be working full time. I remember when I rang up about a house, a property I saw, and they were like, oh, you're working full time? I was like, I'm a part-timer because obviously I've got kids, They were like, no, we don't take part-timers. I was just like, damn. So, you know what I mean? I know the struggles are real out here. But yeah, like the things that they, and then like I said, they want you to make 3 to like 6 times the rent, and it's just like, do you want an arm and do you want me to donate blood? Because you're just asking for like the impossible. Even to view a house, a lot of times you have to, like, once you viewed it, you have to tell them, do you want it or not? And you can't be like, you know, back in the day, you'd be like, oh, I've got to view 2 more properties, I'll let you know by the end of the day. Especially the students in Manchester, I can speak for their students, are struggling to find properties and places to stay. When they do go and view it, the person who's renting it outside, are you taking it? Because, you know what I mean? And most of the time people take it even though they don't really want to, but they know the person behind them or who's next will probably take it. And then there's a competition with that, because let's say you've just got like the right amount for the rent. Person after you might be like, well, I can pay you 6 times the rent up front, you know what I mean? I can cover 3 months. So yeah, this rental crisis is real and it's insane, like the lengths that people are going to. And I love that she touched on, you have to pick between Christmas and food. It's so true. Like, even from back in the day, my mum had to do that. I mean, she felt bad sometimes when she couldn't. So my mum has 5 kids. If she couldn't buy us like really good presents, sometimes she would miss paying a rent or paying a bill just so we could have at least a decent Christmas. So yeah, the world that we're living in, that's definitely true. Parents are literally torn. They have to pick, you know what I mean? So obviously when a lot of kids are like, oh, why did I not get this for my birthday or for Christmas? It's because you had a nice Sunday dinner last Sunday, you know what I mean? Like, obviously back in the day, parents would hide it from the kids, even though you would look at your parent and you can see the stress or the worrying, like they have money problems. But now I feel like a lot of parents are being open, like more open with their kids, and they're like, listen, you know what I mean? Inflation, there's a rental crisis, you can't get those trainers or you can't get that PlayStation because mommy needs to pay this and we need to eat, So I do like that about, like, with the whole Gen X and like the millennials and this generation, I feel like we are being more open with our kids and letting them know what's going on. But yeah, but I feel like kids know as well. It's like with the UK, kids can have go into school and have breakfast now. That didn't used to be a thing. Of if it was, you had to pay, the parents had to pay. It's free now. So I feel like a lot of kids know, like, oh, if my mum can't afford to give me breakfast at home, I know I can go in school and have breakfast. So a lot of these kids are more aware of like the inflation and crisis that's going on and the hard times that we're living in.
Rent is so expensive that minimum wage workers need 3 roommates or 4 jobs to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. In fact, there's not a single state in America where a minimum wage worker that's full-time can afford a 2-bedroom apartment. So look at this for example. If you live in Alabama, where the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, you'd have to work 90 hours a week to afford a 2-bedroom. Now, you would need to work 74 hours a week to afford the average 1-bedroom apartment in Alabama at the minimum wage. So someone explained to me why we're pretending that workers are the problem when it's the corporations that are arbitrarily pushing up prices on rent, food, laying off workers, all to maximize their profits. Like, how is this system that we're currently living in sustainable?
This TikToker moved into his office cubicle because he couldn't afford rent.
They do not pay me enough to do both. So as a matter of protest, I am just going to live at my job. And we'll see how long I can get away with this.
You know what's funny with that TikToker? A lot of people have got stories like that. Like, obviously, they've either had to live in their car for a bit, you know, like they park around the corner from their job, and then, you know, before the store proper opens, they go in there, you know what I mean? If they're opening up, they'll go in there, you know, brush their teeth, you know, do a quick wash in the bathroom, and then, you know, start working. It's insane. Like, that's crazy that he moved into his cubicle. I literally have no words. Like, I've heard stories, you know what I mean? I've heard a lot of stories, people living in their cars and they're literally just across the road from their job, so they're not late, so they don't park too far. I know it's a crime in America to stay in your car, and you can't like park certain places at night. Obviously in the UK it's not a thing to live in your car, but I just think they're not as strict as they are in America. Like, in America, if the cops roll by and they see you, they like bang on your window like, yo, like, what you do? Like, get up. But I'm not surprised. It's crazy. I think earlier last year, someone died in one of those like cubicles in the offices where they worked, and the people that worked there didn't know. I'll see if I can find the article. They didn't know for 3 days. So there was a dead body around them for 3 days. Now with that, where's that person's family? Where are their friends? Where are their colleagues? Their colleagues is around them. But that's what I mean. Everyone's just so stressed out and obviously worrying about themselves and their family that people don't even communicate like that. And obviously because of social media and phones and technology, we don't communicate as it is. But that was really sad to know that he was dead for 3 days, and basically no one cared. Like, no one knew. Like, so sad.
Breaking news, this video behind me is going viral and causing controversy. Check this out.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, and dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations, and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back.
Now for context, this girl lives in a 2-bedroom apartment with 8 cats and lives in a nice part of town. Have you ever thought that maybe at this point in your life you shouldn't be trying to have a 2-bedroom apartment by yourself with 8 cats and only working one job 40 hours a week? Because when most people were her age and they wanted to live on their own, they would have this thing called roommates, or they'd have a partner to split bills with. So if you're not willing to work more than one job because you want to live by yourself in a luxury apartment with 8 cats, then that's on you. Like, I get it, it sucks. You were told to lie when you were young that if you go to college and you become this boss babe, you can be able to live on your own, go on vacations, have all this money. But in reality, that just doesn't happen. Because at no time in the past has anyone, 18, 19, 20, 21, just been able to go from rags to riches, go from being poor to going in a 2-bedroom apartment, having 8 cats, and only working 40 hours a week and just being comfortable. I get she wants sympathy for this video. I get she probably wants people to give her handouts so she can afford her new rent. But she's doing this thing called not living within her means. And that's what a lot of people need to realize. If you are living outside of your means, it's going to be stressful. But I do hope she gets the help that she needs, and hopefully maybe she'll move or maybe meet a guy or girl, whatever she's into, to help split the bills with. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I saw this video and honestly, I didn't feel like any sympathy. Because literally everyone else lives within their means, or they get a roommate, or they start dating someone to split bills with, period. But let me know your thoughts. Love, peace, and taco grease. Imagine complaining about living in a 2-bedroom lavish apartment with 8 cats and you can't afford it. Now you think? You're working 40 hours a week!
Now with that video, it was sad, like seeing a breakdown is sad, and I see a lot of people like that on TikTok. But when you hear the kind of apartment they're living in, it's just like, you know, you could find somewhere more basic. You know, a lot of people want the good AC, they want, you know, fans, or they just want certain stuff. Like they might want it to be more technology, you know, when those like fancy houses, you know, like new builds. You know what I mean? Like, you could just have got a regular house. You didn't have to be in a new build. You know what I mean? So it's things like that. Some people do it to themselves. But on average, everyone's struggling. You know what I mean? But yeah, the way that guy was talking about that girl, like, you don't need that. You don't need that. It's true. Like, you literally could downgrade. Like, don't be afraid to downgrade. I did that with my car. I loved my car, but the insurance went up. I was just like, yeah, it's time for me to sell this car because it was a finance, and I had to let it go. And now I'm in something really shitty. I'm currently saving for a new car, something more in my price range. I'm currently in a hatchback. I'm trying to save for an SUV. I love the big things. So yeah, but yeah, don't be afraid to downgrade. House, car, fashion sense, you know what I mean? If you've gone from buying designer, now you need to maybe shop at, I don't know, Forever 21 still out there in America. For us, it's like Primark. Don't be afraid to downgrade. Like, you know what I mean? When you were balling and living that good life, I had fun I had my car for a year. Like I said, it's that time of year where everything goes up. The insurance went up by 200. I was like, I can't afford it. And on top of that, you know what I mean? I was paying a finance. I was like, it's time for me to downgrade. Thank you very much. But yeah, guys. Okay, guys, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're like struggling right now, if you're going through something similar to what people are going through. But yeah, I just wish everyone the best and just hope we can figure it out. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Stay safe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.